Thank you all very much indeed. I have the role of moderator for our panel. Usually the moderator doesn't have many opening remarks, but I do want to frame for you a couple of thoughts about what I hope to accomplish over the next hour with the four excellent speakers that we have prepared for this session this morning. Defense industry cooperation, as I noted just a few minutes ago, is about partnership and trust, just as it is in other commercial areas. The ability to move forward in defense industry cooperation is conditional on partnership and trust. The ability to find partners, and then the ability to create or to improve the relationship, the trusted relationship between the two parties. I had the privilege of attending the December 6th Tulin event in Phoenix, Arizona for TSMC last year. And one of the speakers there, one a top CEO, global CEO in the world, spent 5 minutes talking about one word: trust. And I think that word is perhaps the most important and significant word in the relationship between the United States and Taiwan, because it characterizes almost all aspects of the relationship between our two countries. There is trust in the cultural relationships between our two countries as our peoples move backwards and forwards. There is trust in the commercial relationship between our two countries as Taiwan's technology companies, among others, the small and medium-sized enterprises, partner with America's global brands to produce the technology that not just our two countries consume and use to improve the functionality of our businesses and the quality of life for our families, but also for the globe, globally recognized. That is a partnership between Taiwan and the United States, and it is thriving, and it's predicated on trust. The trust of a U.S. company, in this instance, to hand over its intellectual property, to have it handled and manufactured by Taiwan businesses to the benefit of both, mutually beneficial, and to provide something or a series of products that the rest of the world can benefit from. So too with defense industry cooperation. Again, as I noted, it's not static, as General Rudder so eloquently pointed out. There are things going on in the world that are changing the way in which we look at security. Security is sovereignty. And the best job that we can do, whether it be the United States, my country, Taiwan, to improve security, is to improve the partnerships that the country has with the rest of the world, to produce products, platforms, solutions that improve the security of any respective country, whatever kind of challenge it might be facing. And to do that, you need partnerships. You need partnerships within your own country, and you need external partnerships so that you can marry up technology and expertise to meet the moment, to meet the challenge inherent. So we have an excellent panel this morning, 4 very good speakers who will be coming up to talk with you and to discuss this issue. And then hopefully some of you will have prepared some good questions, and we'll do a little Q&A. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, President Hammond Chambers. 接下来，我们邀请今天第一位的讲者，经纬航太股份有限公司罗正芳董事长为我们进行演讲。有请罗董事长。Now please welcome our first speaker, Mr. Zheng Fang Luo, Chairman of GeoSat Aerospace and Technology, to deliver his presentation.
The President, Hammond Chambers, the Chairman Huang, General Luder, all the distinguished participants, the leaders of defense industry, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor to be here and my pleasure to address you on the topics of taking Taiwan and the U.S. defense industry cooperation to the next level. As many of you may know, Taiwan and the United States has a long-standing history for partnership when it comes to defense cooperation. This cooperation has led to improved regional defense capacity enhance interoperability, strength, deterrence, economic benefit for both sides, and most importantly, it has helped ensure the security and stability in the Asia-Pacific region. However, there is always room for growth and improvement, and it is my belief that we can take our partnership to the next level through increased strategic collaboration and investment. The current geopolitical situation in the region has created an urgency for defense industrial cooperation. Recently, the PLA has extended its Great Zone operations by conducting close reconnaissance drone flights around Taiwan remote islands and outposts, as well as entering into the ADIZ in the Taiwan Strait. Recently, air patrol activities encircling Taiwan and the naval access southwest of Okinawa has become a new realm of increasing pressure on Taiwan and Japan. Facing such a threat, Taiwan needs to realize a paradigm shift with respect to defense industry cooperation and quickly develop a symmetry tactic to meet these challenges. During her first term in 2016, President Tsai declared a transformational policy for Taiwan's defense industry, namely industrializing national defense and industry serving national defense. She also laid out a framework for Taiwan to invest in 5+2 critical high-tech industry as a national strategy. The U.S. sector is one of 5+2 identified by her framework. On August 13, 2020, she opened a U.S. Innovation Centers in Jiayi in person and proclaimed the establishment of Taiwan National Drone Industry Association, which is also called the National Taiwan Drone Team. Subsequently, I was elected as the chairman of the association. Half years later, on March 25th, 2023, President Tsai led a high-level government delegation to Jiayi and to again chair a discussion forum with Taiwan U.S. industry. With the presidents of National Security Council and government ministers, she formally declared the U.S. industry to be a critical and a strategic industry for Taiwan. She mandated that an integrated, cohesive master plan for U.S. industry development will be formulated by the government task force led by our Deputy Prime Minister, Zheng Wen-chan. Taiwan and the United States has a history of defense industrial cooperation dating back to the 1950s. The U.S. has been a major supplier of defense equipment and technology to Taiwan. The two countries regularly engage in joint military exercise and training program in the past. In the recent years, the U.S. has taken steps strengthening its strategic partnership with Taiwan, including approving the sale of advanced weaponry to Taiwan, such as F-16V fighter jets and M1A2 tanks. The U.S. has also increased its military presence in the region with frequently patrolled by the U.S. Navy ships, and the deployment of military personnel to Taiwan for training. The advantage of the enhancing cooperation between two countries in defense industry are numerous. Increasing cooperation will lead to shared knowledge, skills, and technology, which will improve each of their respective capability. Increased cooperation could lead to the development of new and more defense technology. It will also lead to the improved interoperability, which will help them work more effectively together in the joint operations. Perhaps utmost, increased cooperation between Taiwan and the U.S. can send a strong message to potential adversary, deterring them from taking aggressive action against Taiwan. Most recently, the defense industry has played a key role in its partnership with U.S. defense companies recently, such as GA, MQ-9B, Sea Guardians, and AeroVironment, their Switchblade, rotary munitions. In addition to direct sale of equipment and technology, the U.S.-Taiwan has also engaged in joint research and development projects aimed at developing advanced defense technology. The collaborations have focused on areas such as missile defense, cybersecurity, unmanned aerial systems, and counter-UAS systems. In comparison with the conventional weapon systems, UAV has the advantage of being distributed, agile, decentralized, and disposable. They can be mass produced locally here and enhance our domestic capacity in asymmetric warfare. UAS and supporting systems, including AI-based image processing software, are cost-effective systems that offer several advantages for our national defense. Their surveillance capacity helps military personnel identify potential threats, monitoring our border, and track the movement of enemy forces. UAV can arm with missiles and other weapons, allowing them to carry out precision strike against enemy targets, thus reducing the risk of civilian casualty and minimizing collateral damage. They are typically less expensive compared to the main vehicle, which can make them a more cost-effective and also can be deployed more quickly. From a tactic standpoint, UAS can also be used in situations where it could be too dangerous or difficult to send in manned aircraft or ground troops. Overall, UAV provide military forces with a valuable tool for gathering intelligence, carrying out precision strikes, and conducting a wide range of military operations in a cost-effective and flexible manner. For the benefit of regional stability, Taiwan and the U.S. can expand on U.S. development, production, and training in several ways. Joint research and development. Taiwan and the U.S. can collaborate on research and development projects to develop more new technology, such as new sensors and new payload, as well as improve the autonomy and intelligence of drones. Training and access. The U.S. could provide increase the training and support to Taiwan military personnel on the operation and maintenance of the U.S. This could include the joint training exercise and the exchange of personnel for training and observation. Export of U.S. The U.S. could also sell advanced U.S. to Taiwan, which would aid Taiwan in developing its own U.S. capacity. And also, we hope U.S. can sell us the more of the armed U.S., the combat U.S., which will provide Taiwan with an additional ability to defend against the potential threat. Technology transfer. The U.S. could transfer U.S. technology to Taiwan, which will allow Taiwan to develop and manufacture its own U.S. industry and enhance its sales sufficiency in times of crisis. This could include technology related to the UAV sensors, softwares, and control systems. Cybersecurity and encryption. Given the potential for U.S. to be hacked or intercept, the U.S. and Taiwan can collaborate on cybersecurity and encrypt algorithms to protect U.S. operation and data. Artificial intelligence. U.S. has become increasingly sophisticated, and AI technology has played a significant role in their development in areas such as computer vision, machine learning, autonomous decision making, and swarm technology. Deepening technology cooperation will boost Taiwan's defense capacity. Counter UAV. UAV defense system typically consists of a variety of subsystems that work together to detect, track, and neutralize the hostile drone. Key subsystems in UAV defense including radar, EO/IR sensors, radio frequency sensors, kinetic countermeasures, and C2 system. Working together, integrate of these subsystems can provide Taiwan with real-time situational awareness and decision support, as well as automatic response actions. The aim of U.S.-Taiwan defense industry cooperation is to reinforce collective security and defense capacities on the first line chain, thus preventing any breach of the Indo-Pacific safety net. Taiwan has large amount of U.S. standard-issued military equipment. To improve availability and readiness, local MRO capacity should be improved and expanded through strategic international partnership with the OEMs. It is also my personal strong belief. Increasing local production capability and establish the trusted supply chain in Taiwan will be highly beneficial to the U.S. And it will certainly improve performance-based logistics in the West Pacific theater. Increasing local production will also permit Taiwan to continue to produce and supply goods under licensed production agreements in the event of naval blockade across Taiwan. These are several ways that Taiwan and the U.S. could take their defense industrial cooperation to the next level. Increasing the scope and joint research that the both sides can expand their collaboration in areas such as artificial intelligence, robotics, and space technology. By working together on the cutting-edge technology based on Taiwan's strong semiconductor foundation, the two countries could enhance their mutual defense capacity and competitiveness. increase investment in Taiwan defense industry. The U.S. can provide greater support to Taiwan defense industry by investing in local defense companies or establishing joint ventures. This could help strengthen Taiwan's domestic defense capacity and reduce the dependence on foreign suppliers in times of crisis. Strengthen military-to-military ties and also expand defense sales to Taiwan. Enhance information sharing and cooperation on cybersecurity. In conclusion, taking Taiwan and U.S. defense industry cooperation to the next level will require concerted effort from both sides to deepen their partnership and expand the scope of their collaboration. To speed up dual-use technology development and military preparedness for a potential wartime transition, U.S. development and the military implementation are probably the quickest way and the most efficient method of achieving a resilient national security. With our mutual cooperation, we certainly can enhance our mutual defense and to make sure the regional stability. Today, we open a new chapter of collaboration between Taiwan and U.S. On the basis of trust, this process must begin immediately. It is mean right now. It should be in full progress before our next meeting. My speech will end here. We are looking forward to our collaboration very soon. Thanks for your attention and your listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman 罗，谢谢罗董事长。接下来，我们邀请国防安全研究院沈明士所长兼副执行长为我们进行演讲。有请沈所长。Now let us welcome Mr. Min Si Shen, the acting deputy CEO of the Institute for National Defense and Security Research.
Moderator, Chairman Rupert Hammond, and General Ruder, and Chairman James Huang. It's my pleasure to be here because I'm not a defense industrial expert, but the host organization invited me to share some idea and thinking about geopolitics, and then talking about the U.S.-Taiwan industrial cooperation. You can see that first slide. We can see right now all over the world, they have almost 9 flash points. This flash point is connect each other. You can see in Korean Peninsula, East China Sea, Taiwan Strait, South China Sea, border between China, India, and Armenia and Azerbaijan, and Ukraine and Sudan. Especially, I think Taiwan Strait conflict or potential conflict is very important. We can see that among or in this conflict, they have some common feature. The first one is you can see that authoritarian state. There is an authoritarian state and with strong military capability, and they also have some dispute over border and maritime sovereignty with the neighboring country. And thus, the third one, there has been a war or conflict in the past, especially that the Taiwan Strait, China-India border, and also this situation make regional unrest. Maybe it's a good news for defense structure if some region have unrest. Also have some little or maybe bigger skirmishes keep happening in this area. We also can see that some geopolitical risk of war in the Taiwan Strait. You can see that Xi Jinping, he have a great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation or China's dream. I think Taiwan issue is a milestone of Xi Jinping greater rejuvenation of a Chinese nation, and China will never abandon the use of the force to Taiwan. You can see that in Xi Jinping's speech, he reminds you that he will never abandon to use force to Taiwan. You also can see from last year, August exercise, in the future, maybe a long-term blockade or containment to Taiwan from China. And because of this blockade, the logistic and ammunition shortage and stockpile in the long war is very important. And then you also can see in the Ukraine experience, critical infrastructure protection is very important. But Taiwan need to think about is sufficient or not about CIP. You also can see that example occurs in Mazu, disruption of external seabed cable, and then let Mazu, the network, stop almost 2 months, and disruption of strategic key technology and industrial like chip and semiconductor. The value of and importance of Taiwan. I think the first one is geostrategic value of Taiwan, because Taiwan in the central position of first island chain. The loss of Taiwan, the first island chain, will collapse. You can see that right now, United States increased the deployment in the Japan, or Japan increased deployment in the Nansei Island, the so-called in Okinawa, or increased the base in the Philippines, Luzon. That's the reason. And China's occupation Taiwan will strengthen China's sovereignty over Diaoyutai and elevate the rivalry between the Japan and China. And China occupied Taiwan products in South China Sea or Taiping Ituaba Island will strengthen its control over the South China Sea. And Taiwan is a model. The third value is Taiwan is a model of the democratic political development. Losing Taiwan will lead to the rise of a totalitarian region, and the world will become more turbulent. The last value is semiconductor supply chain. If semiconductor supply chain cut off, the global economy is greatly affected. The alignment of the Ukraine world on Taiwan Strait security. The first one is the dilemma of relying on the traditional large weapon platform, because Taiwan had some argue about that asymmetric warfare and traditional or conventional weapon system development. Right now, you can see from the lesson learned of the Ukraine war, because maybe in the middle of May, Ukraine will start a big war against Russia. The big weapon system also important in this conflict, in this war. You also can see that digital dependent of a high-tech weapon. If you lose internet, if you lose network, you have many weapons that cannot work again. And the use of long-range precision strike weapon system, you also can see in Ukraine war and urban warfare. In first stage of the Ukraine-Russia war, you can see that the Ukraine military and the people use urban warfare in the Kiev, Kharkov, or even in Kherson, in this big city, and Ukraine had 6 hero cities because they do urban warfare very well. You also can see that the improvement of the people's wealth to fight is also very important. For example, that Taiwan need to make some defense reform, especially that our compulsory or conscription system that 4 months. But because of Ukraine war, you can see that people are thinking about 4 months training is not enough. So it was successfully postponed and enlarged to the 1 year. Of course, according to the Ukraine war, the modularization of a naval and air combat. But this lesson cannot use in Taiwan because Taiwan is an island. Naval and air combat are also very important. You also can see some defense industrial cooperation in Ukraine war. You can see that cooperation between Poland and South Korea. The crab, their gun, the crab, some part is come from Korea. If Poland want to sell to Ukraine, they need a permit from the Korea. And you can see the drone of Taiwan and sell to Poland and then transfer to Ukraine. And American, German, and French tanks to Ukraine, and United States, UK, France air defense weapons stand to Ukraine, and Eastern Europe country give spare part to Russian-made weapon of Ukraine. And artillery ammunition production and supply also important because Korea also produce some this 155 millimeter shell for Ukraine. And you also can see the TB2 drum from Turkey. The common goods of Taiwan-U.S. defense industrial cooperation. This is a personal point of view. The first one, I think, is the reorganization of defense industrial chain from China to Taiwan. Red supply chain and change to Taiwan. The second one is you also can see the technology transfer can enhance R&D and the manufacturing capability of Taiwan defense industry. And the raw material can be obtained nearby and to reduce the production cost also. And the solution to the logistic supply problem of nation and spare part during the war of Taiwan will resolve easily because during the wartime we need to apply from a specific organization, apply to the United States and United States to Taiwan. It takes a long time. If we can produce in Taiwan, our logistic supply problem will resolve. Of course, in the dependence of democratic airlines on many operation, American cooperation also important because of Taiwan and United States defense industrial cooperation. But they have some variable between the Taiwan and U.S. defense industrial cooperation. The first one is, I think, the difficulty in Taiwan's emergency procurement and transportation to Taiwan from the warring country during the wartime. The second one is ammunition depot and storage facility within the range of Chinese firepower, even air or ship or their missile. And a wartime shortage of raw material of production, such as steel, gunpowder, and petroleum, because we need to import from outside, from another country. And cooperation of Taiwan internal defense industrial capability and technology. We have many defense industrial of Taiwan here. Maybe we can think about how to combine, how to integrate it in Taiwan first, and then cooperation with the United States defense industrial. And Taiwan's weapon system ammunition certification, because we have some special requirement, special need, special use in Taiwan conflict. But maybe another country or another defense industrial cannot produce this one. So how to integrate it, how to cooperation, very important. Of course, enough chips or not used into the defense industrial. And personnel identification and competitionally issued is also very important. Taiwan already takes some mechanism and pass some law or regulation to handle this issue. A personal point of view, I think U.S.-Taiwan defense industrial cooperation maybe have two models. The first model is the civilian and military model. U.S. civilian defense industrial cooperation with the Taiwan military arsenal of production. Like U.S. civilian industrial cooperate with the military civilian defense strategy, like NCSIST, Hanxiang, Asia Air, Naval Shipbuilding Center, Tank R&D Center. I think this is the first model. The second model is a civilian to civilian model. U.S. defense industrial cooperate with the Taiwan civilian defense industry, like UAV, radar system, propeller, blade, and shape design. I will show you some picture about the Taiwan defense industry, their production. The first one, I think this is very famous because it did a very good job in the Ukraine war. The drone vision, it can drop at bomb in the battlefield, and then the coming. It's coming representative here. You need to pay me the advertisement pay, okay? Okay, you can also see the Trump future. It's very good radar system. It's very small and used in the counter the UAV, and then the Thunder Tiger. And because Chairman Roy here, so I give him two pictures. Jill said, and Chairman Roy recently signed MOU with France, a UAV company. Okay. And then the last slide, you can see there's according to the Tech News, they already point out some maybe government or civilian company, and they have their capability and their content can cooperate it with the United States defense industry. You can see Jingwei Hangtai, okay, Trump Future, their radar system, and Coming, okay, and some ship design and building company. Okay. Thanks for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, 沈所长. Thank you for your insightful presentation. 接下来，让我们欢迎2049计划研究所 Kobe Furlan 总监为我们进行演讲。Now, please welcome Mr. Kobe Furlan, Director of Programs of the Project 2049 Institute, to the stage.
All right, thank you all for your time today, and thank you, Chairman Huang, for hosting us, and Rupert for having me tag along with this delegation. I'll be pretty quick, kind of short and sweet. First thing I want to talk about, in Washington we have something called the say-do gap. So there's a lot of, you might have secretaries of state or defense or relevant organizations come together with their counterparts in Taiwan or otherwise and say, hey, we care about Taiwan readiness, and we care about availability, and Taiwan readiness is Japan readiness, is American readiness, and all these wonderful things. But then there's a question of who does it, right? I mean, does the Pentagon detach an outfit and they start wrenching on things and making the world a better place? And the answer is no. It's doers that do it, and it's companies and organizations and civil society that put that together. U.S. President Ronald Reagan once said, the most terrifying thing you can hear in the English language is, I am the government and I'm here to help. And while the government has its role for sure, I think the points I want to make today are about the doers, right? The organizations that are going to be on the ground, and how we work our industrial cooperation strategy and convert our policies into things that actually make it possible for companies to do the work that they need to do to get on the ground here in Taiwan and make that stuff happen, make those availability rates happen, make that cooperation happen. So, I guess in talking about the doers, the next point I want to make is, why do we do industrial cooperation? Why is that even a thing? What's the objective? And trying to put it in context of the United States. If I asked you today and I said, hey, can you tell me a city in the United States, if I said the word finance, and what city might you think of? Right? I think people would say New York mostly. Definitely not my city. I'm from El Paso, Texas. It's not the top of the list in finance, but getting there. What if I said, semiconductors and high-tech industry, and where in America would you think of that? And they'd say, well, probably Silicon Valley is something I'd point to. But what if I said, where is defense industry? Where is our manufacturing capability? some people would say, well, there's a lot in Arlington and Clarendon, around the D.C. area. Oh, but Texas has got a lot, and oh, Washington, et cetera. Well, the answer is in the United States, it's in as many congressional districts as possible, right? It's part of it's a bad word to say, but like U.S.